But
did you force all your employees to live in your town?
it was all a misunderstanding. I required them to work for my town, so it would be a decent place to raise their families, but not force them to live in my town.
Okay, that's all.
Okay. Would you like to ask or you don't have to? Would you like to? Okay.
But in the statements that you gave, is it true that you did have your employees live in your town?
Yes, I did.
That's all. Thank you.
Okay. All right. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Would you like to recall any more witnesses, prosecution?
No.
Okay. Defense, if you'd like to recall any witnesses, now's the time.
We'd like to call General Nelson A. Miles.
Okay. And remember, you're under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
Is it true to say that you wanted to use violence against the strikers?
Yes, but it was, yes.
Is it true that you were ordered to use force?
Yes. Yes.
Is it true that you do not know who shot you?
No, I do know.
Who shot you?
Okay, let's try this again because everybody's stumped.
Is it true to say you wanted violence against the strikers?
Yes.
Is it true to say that you were ordered to use force?
Yes, by the President.
Is it true that you do not know who shot you?
I do know who shot me.
Who shot you?
The strikers.
How do you know that?
Because, as I said before, my arm wound was in the front, and I was leading my men.
So you think there is no possibility that one of your men could have turned around and shot you?
No, because they were behind me.
Did you see the person that shot you?
No, I did not.
So there is a possibility that one of your men could have shot you.
Maybe a little possibility.
So there is a possibility.
Objection, she's back in the witness.
Okay, and asked and answered 3 times. So if you have another question, fine. If not, move on to the other question. Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for the witness?
No.
Okay. You may be seated.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Any other witness?
We would like to recall Eugenia Debs to the stand.
Okay. Remember, you're still under oath.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Mr. Pullman has stated that you are a socialist. Is that true?
Yes.
Please explain what being a socialist means.
This means that I believe in government ownership and operation of all major businesses and railroads.
So you are not against the government?
No.
That's all.
Okay. Would you like to ask any questions? Okay.
Ms. Debs, are you aware of why the founding fathers founded this country?
Objection, there's nothing to do with the case.
Maybe you have a direct question.
Okay. Are you aware that considered that when someone calls it...
Objection, do you have a question?
Okay. All right, go ahead. You can ask your question.
Okay.
Stay calm.
Are you aware that when being considered a socialist, that people believe that you are against capitalism?
No.
That's all.
Okay. All right, you may take your seat. Okay, do you have one more witness?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call up Jenna Hopkins.
Okay, Ms. Hopkins. Remember, you are still under oath.
Yes, Your Honor.
Jenna Hopkins, I just want to recall, what did you hear from Eugenia Debs' mouth?
Well, I had written her statements. She quoted, "The captains of industry have answered our demands by hiring a mercenary army to break us. We must not falter in our resolve to stop the Pullman trains. Now is the time for muscle."
Objection, didn't you already ask this in your original statement?
I'm going to overrule because she's on recall. She may ask. I'm sorry, finish up, please.
Now is the time for muscle and blood, not words.
And would you say that Eugenia Debs was provoking violence?
Yes.
That's all, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions? Yes? Okay.
Are you sure that it was Eugenia Debs you saw on that platform?
Yes.
Do you believe that muscle and blood can mean something else?
Besides violence?
So that's what you think muscle
Objection, Your
and...
Honor, she's misleading the witness.
If you have an actual question, let's hear an actual question.
What were you trying to, what were you doing at the yards that day?
I was on my way to see Pullman, but then I saw a crowd of strikers surrounding Eugenia Debs.
Okay. All right, you may be seated.
Thank you.
All right. At this time, we're going to take a short 5-minute recess, and then we will have our closing statements. Okay, court is adjourned.
What is your occupation?
Objection, Your Honor, I already asked that question.
I'm going to let it go. Go ahead.
What do you think would have happened if the strike was never stopped?
Can you please repeat the question?
What do you think would have happened if the strike was never stopped?
I think the strikers would have continued to do what they were doing.
And what were they doing?
Stopping the mail carts, which is illegal.
Where were you July 7th?
I was in Chicago stopping the strikers.
What were the strikers doing that you really needed to stop?
They were stopping the mail carts and they were throwing rocks.
Were you injured on July 7th?
Yes.
Who shot you?
The strikers.
How do you know that?
Because, as I said, I was shot in the front, not from the back. And plus, I trust my men, and they don't shoot me.
Did you see who shot you?
No, I did not.
Then how do you know it wasn't one of your men?
Because I know my men. I've been around my men for 30 years.
And do you really believe
Objection! Asked and answered.
Okay, I'm going to sustain that. If you have another question, you already answered that question, so I'm going to move on.
Did you order your men to fire?
Yes, but that was only after the strikers threw rocks at us.
And did someone give you orders to ever use violence?
Yes.
Who gave you these orders?
The president.
What would you do to the strikers if it was up to you?
I would stop them because they're stopping the mail carts, which is illegal.
Did you want to use force?
Yes.
Is it true that if you had your own way to punish the strikers that you would hang all of them?
If I had to, yes.
Why would you do that?
I would do that because they're breaking the law. They're trying to overthrow the government, and I'm part of the government.
Can you please define a socialist?
I think a socialist is a person who's trying to overthrow the government
And how would they be doing that?
by stopping the mail.
And that's a socialist in your words?
Yes.
Why are you against all of the socialists?
Because they're trying to overthrow the country that I love.
Objection, she already asked that question.
How about objection? He's not a qualified witness to talk about what exactly socialist means. Okay, and on that sense, I'll sustain it. Okay, if you have another question.
No further questions.
Okay, your witness? No, I mean, oh, you're done.
They still have another one.
Like I said, you may be seated. Thank you, General Miles. Okay, prosecution, would you call your next witness?
Yes, Your Honor. We would like to call Jenna Hopkins.
Please come to the witness stand. Please place your right hand on the Bible and raise your left hand. Do you swear to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth in this case, under penalty of perjury, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Hello, Mayor.
Hi.
So, why were you against the strikes?
Well, I've been against the strike since the beginning because I don't want any violence to occur.
And you didn't want any violence to occur.
Yes.
So, tell me, how are you related to Pullman?
Well, I was a former worker at his corporation, and I was even elevated to paymaster.
How did you earn your position, even though it was, like, going through tough times?
Well, I worked my best and just made it to paymaster.
And you know about his policy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So what have you done to protect the railroad company again?
Well, I was asked to send police force, and so I sent them to protect and guard the railroad.
Why did you think the strike would be violent?
Well, as Mr. Pullman had said, they were seen having rocks and they were going to throw it.
How do you know they were going to throw rocks?
Well, it's kind of obvious, isn't it?
So if they hold rocks, they're automatically going to throw it.
Well, they're just holding rocks for no apparent reason.
They could.
Okay.
Did you call for the state militia?
Yes.
Why?
Well, because I thought it was necessary.
Where were you on July 7th?
I was on my way
Objection,
to...
she's repeating the questions that I've already asked.
Well, she did earlier, but now she's not, so overrule that. Continue.
Where were you on July 7th?
I was on my way to see Mr. Pullman until I saw a gathering of strikers.
Did you see Miss Eugenia Debs that day at all?
Yes, she was on the platform speaking to them.
So you believe that they were being violent?
Well, actually, she was the one encouraging them. Later that day, then they broke into violence.
Who do you believe caused the violence that day?
Eugenia Debs is the major cause.
Why?
Well, she was the one inciting the strikers to be rebellious, as I've said in my quotes, or her quotes.
That's all.
Okay, Mayor, you may be seated.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, we're going to take a 5-minute recess. We'll be right back. Okay? So the court is adjourned for 5 minutes.